is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, the War and Peace Report. We're in Toronto, Canada. The G8 and the G20 summits are taking place here. Thursday saw the G20's largest protest so far, with an Indigenous-led march through downtown Toronto. We're going to go to sounds of that march, produced by Frank Lopez.
The G20 are not respecting Indigenous rights across the world. They're bending over backwards so that way corporate colonialism can control Indigenous lands, and it's Indigenous people who are directly affected by the decisions made at the G20. So being in solidarity with Palestinians and liberation armies from Southern America, we've felt the need to come out here today and represent the warrior's voice when the liberal organizations are coming out to try and pacify the movement.
Native rights under attack! What do we do? Stand up, fight back! No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace!
I'm hopeful that Canadian society as a whole will look to this day not just as an example of bringing our peoples together, but also examining your own history, the history by your own peoples, and looking at how you can make this government accountable.
Native rights are human rights! Free rights now! Native rights are human rights! Free rights now!
In Canada today, there's over 500 missing women, 584 to be exact, determined by the Native Women's Association. In March 2010, Stephen Harper cut the funding to the Native Women's Association, that the money that was going to go to the Sisters in Spirit campaign to identify ways and means of protecting women and ways and means of making sure that we don't lose any more. Those missing women have gone as a direct result of the Indian Act. And the Indian Act is alive and well here in Canada today in 2010. Racism is legislated.
Canada can't hide genocide, and that means you can't put a pretty face on top of the state-sponsored violence that has been done to people like me and my family. Generations of children kidnapped, taken to residential schools where they're imprisoned and tortured. For the longest time, generations of those people, and then generations like me that are taken by the Children's Aid and adopted out into non-Native families to become non-Native Canadians. And it's an amputation, it's an extremely violent act, and it's genocidal, and Canada just can't swipe that under the rug.
Voices of protest yesterday in the streets of Toronto, produced by Frank Lopez and Dawn Paley with the Vancouver Media Co-op. This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, the War and Peace Report.